Okay, I had one of my students emailing me in my MBA fixed security analysis class, and they were working. I'm using this textbook in that class, which is a very good textbook. This is for studying for the CFA, and they're working on problem 8 in chapter 10 of this book, and they're wondering how to create a binomial tree, knowing the par rates. The book doesn't really show you how to do it, so I thought this would be a good video to show you how to do it. So, they're good to make a video to show you how to do it. Now, most of the methods I'm going to show you I got from this video. So if you go to Ryan O'Connell and go to this video, and it's going to be very similar to the methods I'm showing you. Only difference, he used goal seek and I'm going to use something called solver because it gets you a little bit more of an exact answer. Okay, so this is problem 8. This is some information from problem 8, and really to construct a binomial interest rate tree, you just need the coupon rates. And you need the volatility, so we have the volatility. And I'm going to use a par value of 100 because that's just easier to use 100 when you're constructing binomial trees. And it's easier for me. And these numbers, you can see I got them from right here. All right, so to start out with, we have to make some guesses first. So let's just go ahead and let's repeat. I'm going to move this out of the way for now. So let's just repeat this stuff. I'm going to copy it down here. I'm going to move it over one because I need a little bit of space. So we have this information, and and so we're going to do something called the interest rate tree binomial. We want to do the binomial interest rate tree. And I showed you in a previous video that this formula here is the formula that you use when you're doing a binomial. So the upper is equal to the down times exp2 times your volatility times the square root of t. In our case, our time is 1. Our time period is 1, so square root of 1 is 1 times. So you can ignore that square root of 2 in this case. So if we start out at year 0, well, our forward rate is just going to be whatever this is, right? And then then we can make some guesses. Let's just guess this upward sloping. You know that this is 0.75. So let's just say the lower side. We'll just make a guess as 1.000%, right? And let me take this out a few places. We'll take it out to 4 places, and then let me just format everything in this tree to 4 places. That way, when we do it, you can see a little bit better. And so, using this formula, this is the return on the down side. The upside return is going to be equal to whatever I guessed here times exp. And exp is what that little e is. And then it's going to be to the 2 times our volatility, our implied volatility. Or our volatility, we'll just say volatility. And I'm going to hit F4 to lock that in case I copy this formula around. So I'm going to highlight this yellow because I'm just guessing it. This will make sense in a second. Okay? Alright. So now, using this guess, I'm gonna start doing some calculations down here. And first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a 1-year par bond. And we'll do our cash flows first. And our cash flows, well, we're not getting any cash flows at time 0. And let me this should be dollars, right? I highlighted all this percent, so let me, so I'm going to go dollars. Let me do it this way. I'm going to put, sometimes when you get a weird format, I'm going to go dollars 0.000. I'm going to copy this over. And so we're going to be using, now we're using percent up here. Let me put some more room in here too. I didn't give myself enough room. So So let me copy this format through everything. That way, let me take it out a couple places. And I'm going to copy this format down. Everything else is going to be dollars down here. That way I don't have to keep making it that. All right, so I'm using this maturities, right? Let me say time. Let me say year. And year 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And these are going to be numbers, right? I'm going to hit this. Try that again. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4. And these are, we don't need decimals here. Okay, let me get rid of these. All right, so our cash flow year 0 and our cash flow year 1, all we really need is we're going to get our par value, right, which is $100, and it's going to be plus our par value times our coupon rate that we're going to get. Okay, our par rate. So that's similar, as the same as a coupon. And so our cash flow for year 1 is going to be that. So now for our tree, okay, so for our tree, so now we're going to have to discount this back. So this is going to be equal to this. Okay. So this is where we're going to get. And then we're going to discount it back, right? So it's going to be equal to this. Oops, I forgot my equal sign. Equals this divided by parentheses 1 plus whatever interest rate I'm discounting it back at. And it should be $100. So that's pretty simple exercise. So now we're going to do a 2-year bond. Okay, let me just put a little separator here. Let me just make it blue or something. So now we can do a 2-year par bond. And let me do my cash flows again. And so our cash flows for a 2-year par bond, well, our par rate for that is going to be equal to this, right? So it's going to be equal to $100. I'm going to go ahead and F4 that because I'm going to copy this formula and I want to stick to that. I'm going to make it absolute. And it's going to be time this coupon rate right here. I'm going to go ahead and F4 that. So we're going to get that in year 1, and then in year 2 we're going to get the same 75 cents. But then we're also going to get, the bond is going to mature and we're going to get the $100 again. Right? And then, so in this case, now this is where, so now we can start building our tree again. So now it's going to be, I'm just going to go ahead, let me mark these off like this, so that way I can see the difference between a tree and a, alright, so I'm going to copy this, and before I copy it, I'm going to put this as a F4, that way it stays at $100 there. So now we have two, so you can see we have 2 branches, so I'm going to repeat this twice. So I'm going to go copy, I'm going to paste it here, I'm going to paste it here, right? And then so now I'm going to discount this back, right? So to discount it back, I'm going to discount it back at these rates I guessed here. Remember, I guessed this, and then I use this formula here to get that off that guess, right? So this is going to, using that guess, I'm going to discount it back is going to be equal to this divided by parentheses 1 plus what I guessed here. And then I can just copy this formula, Control C, Control V, and this is going to be the same thing. It's going to be this divided by 1 plus that rate, right? Um, and then, so now I can calculate this, and this is going to be equal to 0.5, because it's 50% probability it's going to go up. And with binomial, these you always consider as 50% is going to go up, plus a 50% probability that it's going to go down. So it's kind of like a weighted average with 50% of each. And then also you don't want to forget this coupon that you get paid. And that's going to be in the numerator. And then we're going to discount it back 1 plus. Now I'm going to discount it back at this negative 0.25%. So now if I guess this right, which went ahead and calculated that, this should be $100, right? So now we can make, oh, by the way, I don't want these okay. So this should be $100. So now what I normally use, like this video here that I showed you, they use something called goal seek, so you can see how to use goal seek. But I like to use something called solver because it's a little bit more powerful and it'll be more exact. So solver is usually going to be in data, and that's going to be over here under analyze. So solver might not be turned on in your Excel. So to turn on solver, you're going to go to file, and then go to options, and then add-ins. Then you're going to go down here to Excel add-ins. You're going to go, and you're going to make sure the solver is clicked, and then you're going to go OK. Since mine's here, I don't need to click it. But you would click here and go OK. I'm going to go cancel, and then solver up here. So once you have solver up here, I'm going to click on solver, and I'm going to set this cell. Remember, I said this needs to be $100, so I'm going to set it to a value of 100 by changing this value I guessed right here. And I'm going to go solve, and I'm going to go OK, and I get these two numbers. Now, if you remember your book, if you looked on the solutions in your book, you can see that that's the numbers we got right there. 1.4197, 2.1180, and that's the $100. Okay, so the book doesn't show you how to do this. This is actually, a good question that student had. All right, so now we just have to continue. So now I'm going to guess this one. I'm going to say this is 2%. And then again, we're going to use this formula to guess what's above and guess what's above, right? So this one's EXP that, and this one's EXP that. And I'm going to highlight this yellow also because this is just a guess for right now. Now this isn't a guess anymore, so I can actually highlight that. Now we've got that calculated, right? So now we got to iterate to the next one. So now let me go ahead and copy this, and we'll do another little break here. Now we'll do a 3-year par bond. And we're going to do something very similar. We're going to do our cash flows. And we know we have a 0 here. And now for the 3-year, we know the par rate for each year for a 3-year is 1.5%. So this is going to be equal to 1.5%. I'm going to F for it because every year for 3 years it's going to be that. And then times our $100 par value we use, I'm going to F for that. And I can copy that across for all 3 years. And then again on the last year, we're going to receive the $100. So I'm going to go plus $100. I'm going to go ahead and F for that because I want to copy this formula down. So now when we build the tree, okay, so this is the tree right here. So now when I build the tree here, now we're going to have three different. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to go copy, paste, paste, paste. Let me highlight this to show that this is not part of the tree. This is the cash flow. Okay, so now I'm going to discount each one of these back. I'm going to do the same thing. It's just very simple. It's going to be equal to this divided by parentheses 1 plus this rate right here. And then we can just copy this. Control C, Control V, Control V. You can double check to make sure it's doing it right. It's this divided by that rate, so that's right. And then again, we're going to go backwards on this. This is going to be equal to 0.5 times this plus 0.5 times this plus this coupon payment I got, and I'm going to put parentheses around this, and then I'm going to divide by parentheses 1 plus, and the interest rate I'm discounting it back as this rate right here, and close it, and then this one's going to be equal to 0.5 times. Well, actually, what you can do, let me just show you. You can actually copy this. So I can go Control C, Control V. You got to be careful to make sure that this, slide that up to there, and then that's using that rate. So that everything else went through. You know, it's 0.5 times this plus 0.5 times this plus this divided by 1 plus that. So it did the same thing. So actually, a lot of times you can use the formula again, and this one's going to be, again, we'll just do it. We'll do it the long way. Equals 0.5 times this plus 0.5 times this plus. Sorry, it's dark in my room. I'm having a hard time seeing it. Plus this. Put all this in parentheses. Put the whole numerator in parentheses. Divide it, and we're going to discount it back. Now we're discounting it back using this rate, and then close your parentheses. Again, this has to be 100, so now I'm going to use solver again. So I'm going to go to data, solver. So now I want to set this cell to a value of 100. Now I want to change this cell that I guess. I go solve, and then OK. You can see that these changed. You can see that they're the same thing we have here. We're pretty close. Sometimes they're off a little bit, but see how that didn't go exactly to 0.001. So it's off by 0.0001. So we can go to solver. Sometimes what you can do is under options, we can say use a constant precision. We can add a couple zeros in here, and then go OK. And then let's try solving it again. Solve. And then now I made it a little bit more precise by adding the precision. Now it's 0.977, 0.9. So now we got a little bit more precise. So we'll leave solver set that way so we get the exact answer. All right, so now we just have to do one more. So now we know this is correct. So I'm going to go ahead and not make that yellow anymore. So I'm going to copy this format. So now we got to guess again. So let's say this is 2.5, right? And again, I'm going to use this up-down formula. So let me copy this formula. I'm going to paste it here, paste it here, paste it here. You can see that this is equal to EXP. Okay, so now, again, I'm going to leave that yellow for now because that's the one we're guessing. So now we got to do it one more time. This is quite a tedious problem, isn't it? So I'm going to copy this. And let's go ahead and, it would be a lot harder if you're doing it by hand, right? Now we go 4-year bond. And now we're gonna go ahead and do the cash flows again. So I'm gonna go cash flows, and again this is $0, and this is equal to now we're at this 2.25%. I'm gonna F4 that, and then it's gonna be times our $100 par value, and I'm gonna F4 that, and I'm gonna copy that across 4 years. And this last year we're gonna get our additional $100. I'm going to F4 that. So now I have 4 different interest forward rates. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to go copy, paste, 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 paste. Oop, Control V, Control C, Control V. Let me highlight that to make sure you know those are cash flows. And then we can discount this back. So this equals this divided by parentheses 1 plus. Now this is the rate we're going to use. I forgot to close the parentheses. It did it for me, right? Now I'm going to copy this, Control C, Control V, Control V, Control V. Now this is going to be equal to 0.5 times this plus 0.5 times this plus, I'm going to go ahead and F4 this so I can copy the formula. So I'm going to F4 this, right? Because it's always going to be that coupon rate. And then I'm going to put the whole numerator in parentheses. And then I'm going to divide it by parentheses 1 plus, and now we're going to use, now we're discounting it back at this rate right here. Oh, I mean this rate right here, right? Because now we're into the third. And close the parentheses. And then I can copy this. I'm going to go Control C, Control V, Control V. Always good to double check to make sure it's doing the right stuff. And it looks like that's all on the right things. Okay, and then we're going to go back to this one. This equals 0.5 times this plus 0.5 times this, 50% probability, plus this. We'll go ahead and F4 because I want to copy the formula down. Put this whole thing in parentheses. Oh. Go to the end. Divided by parentheses 1 plus. So now we're on the 2 nodes, so I'm going to discount it back this one. Alright. Close the parentheses. And I'm going to take this, I'm going to copy it here, paste it here. And finally we're going to do one more. It's equal to 0.5 times this plus 0.5 times this plus this. Put the whole numerator in parentheses. Divide by parentheses 1 plus. So now we're discounting it back one time at this rate. Close the parentheses. We know we want this to be $100, so I'm going to go to Data, Solver. I'm going to set this cell to a value 100 by changing this thing that we guessed. I'm going to go Solve. Okay. And now you can see that I have the exact same solution the book has. Okay. So I can go ahead and format that. Alright, so the rest of it you can kind of work. I'm just going to do that much as the video is already 22 minutes, right? So the rest of the problem you can work through. But that's how you would build that binomial tree. So now one thing I did here, I did this using Excel, right? So if you get this on the CFA, I'm not sure how you do it on the CFA, right? It'd be a little bit more difficult. I have to think about that, but here, you know, you don't have Solver, you don't have Excel and Solver, right? So if they ask us in the CFA, I'm not sure how you would do it. Sorry about that. I just need to think about that more. But anyway, if my picture is going to come up here. If you like this video, click on the picture to subscribe. If you haven't subscribed yet, give me a thumbs up. Ask me any questions. Give me any comments. Thanks for watching. Bye.